Hello, sports fan. This is Stephen Hill for Sports Choice Plus. I'm bringing you a very special breakdown. We're going to be covering the Shakedown in Tennessee. Before I get right down to this, I'm going to make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so you can get all the updates and all the breakdowns. Without further ado, let's get right into it. This weekend, the University of Tennessee football program has moved on from starting quarterback Nico Iamaleva, and you're looking at just exactly the tone of Tennessee. Tennessee, as you know, made it to the college football playoff last year, and a big part of that was Nico. If you followed his journey 2 years ago, he was a high five-star recruit, the highest rated recruit from he was from. And you got to think from the standpoint, he was a no-show at spring ball. He was a no-show essentially for the spring game, and that was Paul's first concern. His handlers and himself were looking for a raise from $2.4 million to about $4.5 million to be exact. And you're looking at his list of demands. If this list of demands is true, saying that he wanted a Bugatti or a high-priced sports car and saying that he wanted more NIL money, it's tough. Because you got to think about this. This was what got Tennessee on the map. Getting him to the program is what's helped a lot of recruits get there. So you got to think. Tennessee was aware of this, his list of demands, and it's also said that he reached out to University of Oregon to try to step out and see, okay, what if I come to your college, what are you going to give me? If I come to your university, what are you going to give me? And you got to think, Tennessee got tired of it. Tennessee was not putting anybody ahead of the program, if you will. And they were staying pat. And this is the first time we've seen in the NIL era that we have a holdout. So he was probably the first guy to essentially hold out, the biggest name that we've seen to say, okay, I'm not playing unless I get these demands. And you got to think, Tennessee has already given him big demands when he first came to the school. When they was negotiating with Ohio State over University of Oregon, over different universities for Nico's services to start with as a freshman. So I think this is tough. But now the question is, where does Nico transfer to? You know, because now he's no longer a part of the program. They've dismissed him. They've let him go. They've let him out of his NIL deal. And you got to think, this is to the point where does the player being there match the efficiency of money he's going to bring to the program? Was he playing well enough to where they could justify paying him this, or was he good enough to even demand this kind of stuff? A lot of people at the university and the SEC are saying no. But obviously the Power 5 schools have to take a look at this, because this is a guy that potentially could go to USC, potentially go to Oregon. He could go to Ohio State. He can go to anybody. So, you know, this is pause for concern, but Tennessee handled it the right way. When you look at Tennessee, you cannot put one player, or any university put one player above the program. And you got to think about this. If you give in to one player with these kind of demands, imagine what the next running back says, the next wide receiver that has a great year says, the next tackle, or anybody like this. Imagine what the next person does, allows you to get that signing. So I don't think that overall the University of Tennessee is going to miss anything because of this. I think that overall, when it's all said and done, good for them. You know, they did have a great season last season, and now they have to look for a starting quarterback. They may enter into the transfer portal to get one, and I think that you could possibly get a great quarterback at the University of Tennessee through the portal, knowing what they have on offense, knowing what they have on defense. So what do you guys think? Do you think it was good for the Tennessee to do what they did? Do you not like the idea? Definitely check out Sports Choice Plus for all the breakdowns and all the updates, and we'll see you on the very next episode.